Hey folks, and welcome to episode 3 of our Nioh 2 marathon. So last time we finished a couple of missions, and we unlocked a side mission, but one of them was locked away behind interacting with a Scrampus. And I figured I would show where the Scrampus, the first one that you're supposed to interact with, is. So from the second shrine in the first mission, if you remember, we were here. There's this door that you unlock once you kind of go around from there. You come here, you unlock the door, and it's a shortcut. You come here. There is an enemy here. There's an archer over there. One other enemy here, and another enemy there. And right here is this little guy. And they are very adorable. So once you're close to it, you just pet it. And just like that, we have interacted with a Scrampus. And in case you didn't want to finish the entire mission, you can use a Divine Branch Fragment. What this will do is that it will make you lose all the Amrita you currently have, which isn't much, we only have 2800, but you can exit the mission. Now, unfortunately, it didn't count. So we have to, I assume, finish the entire mission for it to count as bonding with a Scampus, not Scrampus. I think Scrampus is the Christmas thing. But since I showed where it is, let's go ahead and do the other side mission, since it's the lower level one anyway. And if we run into a Scampus, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, then perfect. If not, then I'll just finish the first mission again myself after interacting with the little cat. I definitely took a hit there that I didn't need to take. And in here, you see this guy, but there's another guy on the right that is hiding away. So what we will do is that we will snipe this guy. And then fight this other guy. We'll wait for that patrol. And we're back. Had to take a quick break. So for these patrols, I like to thin them out by basically just sniping them from a distance. Lovely. I thought the attack would interrupt the axe guy, and it didn't. So let's pause and go back. Alright, this time I'll also kill this guy. The snipe. So that we only have to deal with 2 people rather than 3. And if we're lucky, we can... Finally. You okay there? Alright. Well, this goes to show you at least that in this game, if you let your guard down, regardless of how well you know the game, you're probably gonna die. And in here we got a fork in the road. We can go either left or right. It doesn't really matter, because we are going to end up at the same exact location. I like to go right, because I'm just more used to it. These guys might give you trouble, but remember, what they'll do is that they'll dash towards you, and you can use that to your advantage. Basically, just queue up the attack so that they're, when they get to you, they get hit right away. And most of them will flinch. There are some that will not later on. Oh my. But yeah, you can die to the weakest enemies in the game. It doesn't really matter. But hey, at least we got the soul core out of that guy. I believe this guy is the one responsible for this yokai realm. And enemies will sometimes dodge after their attack, which is just so aggravating. So sometimes your attack won't connect, and you need to reposition, and you kind of just waste ki. It's especially irritating against yokai enemies because dodging for them doesn't cost ki. So really when they dodge, you're wasting ki and they're just losing absolutely nothing. If the camera would let me lock onto this guy. Odachi enemies and Odachi playstyle in general is really slow and costs a ton of ki. And you'll notice that if you care enough about late game builds, Odachi builds usually tend to focus on that part and basically make it so that you can chain attacks without suffering from the ki penalty. And in here, this is going to be the boss, I guess, for this side mission. And this boss is one of the harder enemies for Nioh 1. You kind of start seeing him late into the game, which was kind of surprising going into this game because he is very early into the game. And the reason for that is that we're going to be seeing a ton of them. So without further ado, this is the Tengu monster. And it's very difficult to punish this enemy because the downtime for their attacks is almost non-existent, and they do this counter attack if you're behind them, and it's this super quick spin attack that hits 360 degrees. Your best window of attack is when they go up in the air and they either do the charge or the grab. If they do the air attack, then you just need to dodge sideways. But if they do the charge, this one, this is when they leave themselves open. Oops. It's time to open to attacks. If you have trouble with this guy, don't be discouraged. He is definitely one of the more difficult enemies to get used to. Once we kill him, we wait a little bit, and the mission will be over. We might as well pick up these arrows. This arrow. Just like that. We are done with that mission. We got the Karasu Tengu Soul Core. Not a big fan of it, but hey, it's nice to have it. And before we move on to the Viper's Sanctum, I would like to do a Voice in the Twilight. So I will pause the video and I will redo the first mission while interacting with the Scampus, whatever it's called, just to make sure that we unlock it. So I will see you in a few minutes. And I just got done with the mission, and I just did a few things. So the first one is that I did equip some of the items that we gained. So I might look different to you, but really I didn't do any grinding outside of that. It was just items that we had already picked up. And more importantly, I am using the Tokagimaru weapon, and it is a sentient weapon. If you look at the panel on the right, you will see a sentience meter. And once the sentience meter fills up, you get more attack bonus, basically, or more damage. As well as the item level for this weapon is pretty good. So it's a good upgrade for us. And I'll just level up our stamina by 1 point. Stamina, strength, and skill are not exactly very useful to us, but they are good because we need them for a lot of the special effects for the items. And in case you're wondering why we needed to interact with the cat, it's because this mission is entirely dependent on the cat. Once you interact with the cat, a bunch of enemies will spawn. And as you can see by the red grapes all around this arena, it's pretty tough. Once we kill this guy, we will get these enemies. Some of the most annoying enemies in the game. Not only are they ranged, but they can also get into melee range and basically just interrupt you by walking into you. Oh no. He was doing this combo. And this is what I was talking about. They're just aggravating all around. It's very difficult to get them isolated from the monkey, because the monkey is fast and they don't move much. But once you're done with them, they're definitely... Well, the fight is much easier. And it's not too terrible, and I believe that is it for this mission. Oh, no, right. We forgot, we actually get the horse that we never... Oh. That we never fought. Well, we did fight it, I guess, but we never killed the... Technically, the first boss. Keep mistiming that. Once you break the enemy, you can do enough damage. You can actually bring it down, basically. Oh no. And if you bring it down, you can do an execute on it. I definitely misplayed that quite a bit, but fortunately I had enough elixirs from making offerings. And that's why while going through the game, I tend to offer my items to the shrine instead of selling them to the blacksmith. Once you have enough elixirs and once you have beaten the game and gotten a decent build going, selling your items to the blacksmith is generally the better idea. And let's see if we got any decent upgrades. This one is good, but as you can see, it takes our equipment weight to 80%, which is just too high to justify the change. And that is it, I believe. Yep. Do we have another ranged weapon? No. So we will go to the shrine and offer all the items. We get 2 elixirs. We get quite a bit of Emerita. Go ahead to put 2 points into heart and 1 into constitution. I believe we have enough time to finish this mission. Heads up, the boss for this mission is my bane. I'm probably going to die to it more than once. So, as I mentioned, I will only put the first attempt as well as the successful attempt. The house can be a bit confusing. I've gotten lost in it enough times to know my way around it. This is not the way. The way is through here, and I believe this is the first time we see the snake enemy. I will skip it because we see it more than enough times, really, later on, so that I don't need to introduce the enemy. Once we're here, we need to make our way downstairs. And this part is annoying because these pools are poisonous. You can make them not poisonous. but that would require too much time if you ask me. So the only thing that we will be doing is to come over here. Get rid of any enemy chasing us. As you can see, I am poisoned, so I am taking damage over time. Go ahead and pop an elixir. And the thing responsible for the Siokai realm is that statue over there. And once you're strong enough to be able to do this mission without destroying any statues, you will get an achievement, I believe. As you can see, doing damage to it with arrows will not help much. So what we will do is, hopefully, kill it before anyone can kill us, which gives us time to go back to the shrine, and never mind. The one thing about the shrine is that if there are enemies around it, you cannot interact with it. The Kodama will just hide under the helmets. But once you interact with it, you have unlocked a checkpoint. And the boss is right here. Problem is, whoa, easy there, buddy. Problem is, crossing this pool can get you poisoned. Okay, we didn't get poisoned this time. That is good. So we'll just run past that enemy and start the boss. As I mentioned, this boss is the bane of my existence. In general, I don't think it's difficult. Most of my friends who played this game never really had an issue with it. I, on the other hand, struggle immensely against it. And once it burrows its hands into the ground, that's basically a sign for you to just run in a curve, as you can see. Bait out the attack, then hit it. I like to focus on the body. You can do it either the head like this, or the body. I like to do it on the body. If you manage to kill the hands in this phase, you will not have no. You will not have ads in the yokai phase. If you don't, then you'll have two snakes, and at the end of the yokai phase, regardless of whether you killed the hands or not, they will respawn. And as you can see, once you get to the yokai phase, not only will the boss just be more aggressive, the hands are just super annoying because they can do poison attacks to you. If you try to kill them, they'll actually run away from you. So I like to play this phase a bit defensively and just wait it out. And these pools, as you can see around the boss, some of them are poisonous, one of them is not. That's because we only cleansed one of them. And the way to cleanse them is by destroying those statues There are 4 in total, I believe. Oh no, I got poisoned. And because of the poison pools, the fight just becomes so difficult because you don't have a lot of room. Okay. Okay. I tried to counter burst that one. It is very difficult to do with the strength form. But that was the first attempt. I will see you in the successful attempt. And we are finally done with the snake boss. One of my least favorite bosses in the game. The good thing about the snake boss, though, is that it drops a ton of Shrine Maiden set items. And while it doesn't look particularly like a good set, once you have 4 pieces, it becomes very good. And once we finish the mission, we also get 2 guaranteed Shrine Maiden pieces. Which means that we get the 3 set. And unfortunately, we don't get the 4 set bonus, because the 4 set is what I really like. Because the way we're playing right now, we're going past a lot of the Kodama and ignoring a lot of the enemies, we don't have a lot of elixirs. So healing is a bit difficult. And the 4-piece gives healing from purification, and sometimes you may have noticed black pools on the ground, and if you do a key pulse around those pools, you will do what is called a purification. So if you have the 4-piece set of this item, you will regain 196 HP each time you purify. Doesn't seem that great, but it is very helpful. And we finally get our first accessory. Not fantastic. I would have liked an accessory that would have a Kodama sensor. If you do get one of those, make sure that you lock them. And the way to lock it is by pressing the X button on the Xbox controller and just say lock. I'm obviously not going to lock this one, but what Kodama sensor does is that the green little guys that we see all around the levels, it's very difficult to find them without a guide. And what the Kodama sensor does is that whenever they're close to you on the minimap, it will highlight them to you. So before we finish this episode, go ahead and make an offering. Put 3 levels in there. And that should be it for now. And much like what the cutscene said, we can now proceed to the next region. But before we do that, I would like to finish these 3 side missions. So in the next episode, we will do these 3 side missions and move on to the next region. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.